Dory, why I'm wanting to do this is, first of all, thank you so much. You are one of the few patients who has kind of grabbed this way of working and really gone uh, above and beyond, and according to me, received lots of benefit from looking at your issues and being able to um, address them, like I said, head on with the use of homeopathy or whatever you've used, right? So I just want to get a bird's eye view of, from the patient's perspective, what has it been like? Because often when you deal with aspects in the emotional, it can be overwhelming, it can be scary, it can be unknown. Some people have had traumatic or bad experiences in the past, and this is just too overwhelming, and a lot of them just shut down. The subconscious doesn't want to know about it. Okay. And like I said, you've done really, really well. And if you wouldn't mind sharing, like, why are you doing this? Why don't you just do regular homeopathy? How has it worked for you? What would you say? How would you answer this?
A lot of answers to those questions. I don't know how long we've been doing this. I tried to go back and figure it out. I think we've been doing this 3 years now. Um, and I remember my first phone call with you, and I remember my sister telling me, because she works with you as well, she said, it's just going to be different. And I remember that first meeting at 5:30 in the morning, my time in Iowa. And I was just gut honest about what was going on, everything that was going on, because I was hurting physically, mentally, and emotionally, but I didn't know that at the time. I know that now. Um, and I have learned that I've learned so much, but I've learned that my body just will shut down with the emotion that's going on that I've got trapped in there, because so often I have, and many people just stuff it and forget it and just try to move on. But I've learned very well that that's just going to come back and bite you in the ass somewhere. And if you don't deal with it, you're going to end up sick, hurt, exhausted, and not know why. Um, so since that first meeting, I have just been very honest about everything, maybe too much to a fault that's going on in my life, but you've been receptive and it's allowed me to heal without Western medicine, without a pill, without an x-ray, without anything. I've been able to heal my body myself by doing the right thing with your guidance.
So let's talk a little bit about what you mean by the right thing, because I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Surely it couldn't have been easy. Surely, I mean, this is what people from the outside looking in are going to think. They might say, well, I've done emotional work, or I've worked on myself. I've worked on those issues for years as well, but I'm still trapped, or I'm still held hostage to those experiences when they come up again. Surely Dory can't be so free right now. What would you say? Has it been
Uh,
a joyride? Has it been difficult? How would you express or explain what it's been like for these last 3 years?
it's been hard. It's been hard. I'm not gonna lie, but because I have chosen to be very honest about everything that's going on, and I've walked through a lot of stuff that I didn't see coming. My mom died. I went through a divorce. I moved out on my own. I've been financially hurting. Just a lot of things have gone on in life. But because I have worked with you and learned how to work through those emotions so that they don't attack my body and shut me down. And they've shut me down a couple, two or three times. You and I have worked on it where it's literally shut me down. And I always bragged about being a person that was just never sick. Well, I was really sick, actually. Um, I just didn't know it. And I didn't know how to fix it or change it. I've done all the work you've talked about. I've gone to the doctor when I was going through menopause. because I thought I was losing my mind. And she's like, oh, take this pill. And oh, this is just part of life. And this is just, well, that's BS, because that's what they're trained to do. So no discredit to them, but you have taught me to work through those emotions and work through those traumas, so to speak, and let my body heal. And so it has made me healthier. Has it been easy? No. Have I wanted to do it? Not necessarily. But you know what? It depends on how you want to feel. Bottom line, I want to feel better. I want to live these next, hopefully 50 years living my best life. And I'm doing pretty good. And there's been times when I've been hurting, and it's been terrible when I've gotten off the phone with you and I've felt raw and vulnerable and crappy. But give it 24 hours and it gets better. And you've taught me to walk through that and just kind of let it happen. But there are also other pieces and components to that. You know, you've taught me the beauty of remedies and how they work, and how my prescriptions just keep changing and evolving, and how this one will do this. And it's just, it's been amazing. It really has.
Wonderful. So if I have to ask the question this way, all right, so let's say I'm trying to discern or determine the difference just by giving a remedy or by doing what we do. Yeah, because according to me, I'm interacting with you, I'm talking with you, I'm consulting with you, but my outcome maybe ultimately is a remedy to help you and support you when I'm not here with you. Okay. But the remedy is not the only thing. So can I ask you, what do you experience when we are consulting? What changes or upregulates or downregulates or happens to you in the consultation? Because what if we would just say, okay, Dory, just go to the pharmacy or whatever and get that homeopathic remedy? What is the difference?
The difference is that remedy is going to help me heal, where an Advil or a Tylenol or something is going to mask that and take away the discomfort for a while. Now, there's a time and a place. I'm not going to lie. I still will go to an Aleve when I'm really struggling with my back pain, which we're working on. But that remedy helps me heal. It brings a softness to the healing. It brings it just brings all the pieces together. When my mom died, it was terrible. And my body was going through things that I didn't even realize it was going through. And then 2 weeks later, it was going through different things. But each remedy gave me a different component to help me heal, and help me heal through the grief and heal through the trauma and the emotion and all of it. So they're just magic. It's just magic. It's like magic.
Okay. So what I was asking is it just the remedy? What do you get out of the consultation? Is it just a remedy, or is there an education, or is there an understanding, or does the light go on, or does it, how would you explain the consultation? Right? Take it for someone that doesn't know what we do or how it's done, and they assume, oh, well, yes, I've had homeopathic consultations that it didn't work for me, or didn't, Dory's saying all these amazing things, but I haven't had an experience where it's been just blown me away and opened the doors. So what is different, or how have you experienced it differently?
Each one of our consultations is unique. I walk away every time, first of all, amazed that consultation just happened. But it might be very emotional. It might be a light bulb moment. It might be both of those things. I might walk away from that consultation angry. But our consultations are just so personal that you guide me through the healing with your questions, with your scenarios, with your answers. Many times it makes me have an aha moment. And a lot of times I solve my own issue by our conversations. And I'm just like, oh, what? Well, there's the answer right in front of me.
Yes.
But because the way we just walk through it, it just naturally comes out where maybe it was stuck and I just wasn't seeing it. That probably happens every time. And every time I get done with a consultation, I say to my sister, well, that was just another amazing phone call. Because I always get something out of it. Always get something out of it. Not just my prescription, but I get a solution, and I get a better insight as to what's going on just by conversation.
So if I put it to you like this, it's like I'm acting as a trigger, as a facilitator to help you to
Mhm.
see what's going on in front of you. It was always going on in front of you, but you couldn't see it, or you didn't perceive the depth of what was happening or how that situation was unfolding. And then when we shine the light on it, so to speak, then Dory gets, aha, this is what it is, or this is why I'm angry, or this is why the pain is there, or that's what I need to change.
Yes, I agree. You literally are a facilitator of my emotions and my thoughts, and just help bring them to the forefront, just in different ways. And that has taught me to just step back sometimes when I'm feeling uncomfortable or angry, or just not feeling well, to just step back and take a look at, okay, what's going on around me? How is it affecting me? How am I not letting it affect me? How am I letting it affect me? So our consultations and conversations have allowed me to then be able to do that sometimes on a daily basis. I
Yeah.
have that thought process to do that. But yeah, you just walk me through. And I love when you turn in your chair and say, okay, let's talk about it this way. And you just play that scenario through. And it might make me angry, but it makes me angry in a good way, because it just brings all of that out. And I always walk away with a solution. Not and I walk away with hope. I always walk away with hope.
Stunning. You know what I like what you said? It was how the interaction that we have, that when we're not interacting, you take that and you are employing that in your life every day. So you're doing like a mini little consultation in your head. Okay, so this scenario, that's happening, and you're not taking all the things going on personally, but you're able to like stand back and see what is actually unfolding, and you're able to make the appropriate or the right decision, where previously maybe emotion would have bowled you over to take a wrong turn or something like
Mhm,
that. Can I say it
mhm.
like that? Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's absolutely accurate. When my mom died, and I didn't know what was going on with my body. I truly didn't. And then I was trying to go on holiday, as you call it, and my body just shut down. And it's like, what the heck? And I reached out to you, and you said to me, we're gonna get you through this, but just tell me what's going on. And just talking through how I was feeling and how my body was reacting helped me see that it was just trauma trying to get out a different way. But then you walked me through it even further. But being able to see that and experience that was, for one, it was kind of freeing to be able to have that feeling, and not just that grief, but to let my body heal through that grief. And yeah, it's just to me, it's just very powerful.
Okay, so now,
It's Yeah.
so I've had a thought. All right, so I'm talking with you and getting you to notice your feelings, so to speak. So, and I'm asking this to you. How is this different to if I said to you, listen, Dory, let's book you in once a week. You can go and see a therapist and you can talk about your stuff and then you'll walk away. Will you have the same result? How is this different
No.
and if it's not, how is it? What would you say?
So I worked in that field for 5 years. I worked in a therapist office, six amazing therapists. I don't think I ever saw somebody walk out of there feeling the way I feel when I get done with one of our sessions. And we only do 30 minutes. they're in there for an hour. Again, not discrediting therapists, because there's a time and a place, but it's a different experience, because I don't think a therapist, Western medicine therapist, I don't think, having been on both sides of the table, can through the emotion and walk me through the life situations the same way. It's just not the same. I've done both. No, it's not going to be the same experience. I'm not going to walk out of there feeling hopeful or feeling like I have an answer. I'm feeling like I'm going to have to come back next week. It's like another chapter. But with you, I can go 6 weeks and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. Or I might feel kind of crappy, but I know that I don't have to talk with you because I've learned some coping mechanisms, we'll call it.
Right.
Or if I am, I can reach out.
Yeah.
But totally different worlds.
And, after the consultation, the remedy is there to support you to, let's use some examples, to help the liver to drain the anger or the frustration or the hurt that maybe you're feeling that is often stored in the lungs, or the grief. So the remedies help to pull it out. And that's the reason, Dory, why I believe that I'm having such good results using those mega potencies, those high potencies. Those are almost frowned at if you look at it from a homeopathic perspective. You can't use it so often or so high in the way that we're using it. And, I'd be the first one to say that's how they teach and everything. But I say through my intuition and actual, putting my money where my mouth is, using it on patients, it's just working amazingly. And I'm sure you can confirm that's you use that remedy, and the results are amazing.
100%.
Right.
100% amazing. Um, I I won't I wouldn't do anything else. I just wouldn't. The way the remedies work to just pull all that out or move all of it out or flush it out, whatever you want to call it. Was I skeptical at first? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. But then when I learned, when I experienced the power of them, and how the remedies can work and pull all of that out or cleanse that out, it's so much better than anything I've done ever in my life. It's a crazy amazing tool.
Okay, let's talk about some.
And you don't have to take them forever.
Yes, that is amazing. That is amazing. So let's just talk a little bit about what happens when something goes, in inverted commas, wrong. Okay, you get an over response to the remedy, or you get an aggravation to the remedy. That can be very scary for people, and they feel like I can't deal with that again. And how do we deal with that, or does it happen often, or when it happens, how does how do you bring yourself back into control or deal with that?
Well, for one thing, you have warned me that that may happen. So I have that expectation that that can happen. I've had it happen a couple times where it's made me angry before it's made me feel better. Um, but I've learned, and I've also done some research that, you've got to get that out. If there's a pothole in the road, in order to have a smooth road, you've got to fill it, right? So
Yeah,
you're going to fill the pothole and you're going to let it settle, and then you're going to drive over it. You might have to fill it a little bit more, and then eventually it's going to smooth out, right?
right,
Same thing with a remedy. It's going to bring up that pothole. You got to put a little more into it. It's going to smooth out. You drive over it a little bit more. You put a little more into it. Eventually you're smooth and you're like, oh, hey, look at that. I'm driving on a smooth road.
right.
So it's gonna bring up that stuff. You have to get that out. We as a society just know to stuff everything and let it fly out somewhere and then deal with it. I would rather get it out in a calm, natural manner and not have to apologize. Just let it happen. So yeah, it's trauma up. It might bring up whatever's in there so you can get it out so you can have that smooth road. And now that I know that that can happen, where I'll be fine. And then all of a sudden I'm just kind of pissed off and I've started this new remedy and I'm like, okay, he told me this could happen. I just need to write it out. And about 48 hours later, sure enough, it's gone. And so is that whatever that feeling was that I was dealing with, gone. So yeah, you're gonna have it, but you know what? You're gonna have that with anything. I would rather have the guidance to know how to fix it.
Yeah, so often when that starts to bubble up, as you say, you can just stop taking the remedy for a little bit and let it calm down and settle down, and then you can start the remedy again. So you can almost regulate the rate at which it's bringing up those emotions that you
Right.
haven't dealt with for a long time. And in that way,
Right.
you're almost guaranteed that you're not going to have this thing happen every time you take a remedy. So it is really safe,
Right. Well,
and you feel safe and you feel supported, isn't it?
very safe, very supportive. I feel safer with these remedies than I do with anything else that I don't know that I would take a prescription.
Right.
I don't know that I would today because I just don't, there's so many side effects and issues that are going to compound what I have going on, where a remedy is going to help me get it out and move on. And I'm not going to have headache, gut diarrhea, all of those other side effects. I'm just going to deal with what's going on. And yeah, if I have to back it down, then I back it down and I go back at it 48 hours later. I've had to do that a couple times because that emotion is just like, woo, I don't want to go down this road, or maybe it's just a little too much. So yeah, I've had to dial it back a couple times and then go back at it again. And
Why do we always talk about the emotions? The emotions, to my understanding, are the top level of that can bring, joy, positivity, or it can bring disease, as in the negative emotions that are being pushed down into the physical body, manifesting the physical symptoms. So if we turn that around, if we can clear the pressure on the emotions, the physical body doesn't have to process the physical disease to help relieve the pressure on the emotions. And that's why we focus so much on the emotions. It's like the emotions are the top of the hierarchy on the level of disease. That's why
they're the driving force.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So that's why we are concentrating on the emotions. And that can be difficult for people who struggle to express the emotions. But there are homeopathic remedies that can coax you out of the corner there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'll just make a statement here. Looking at your case story, it's like when we meet now, there's so much less anger or grief or whatever the trapped or blocked emotion is, so that when you are in the present, whether it be at work or whether it be with family members, when you are making decisions in your life, you can make that decision without feeling pressed, pressurized, fearful that you're going to make the wrong decision. So, can I say it seems like your life is flowing so much more harmoniously now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I wouldn't say that I felt hopeless when we started this journey 3 years ago. I can say now looking back that I was in a lot of pain, not physically necessarily, but more mentally and emotionally. Um, and I don't have that today. I mean, I still struggle, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect, but I don't struggle as hard or as long. Emotions don't get me down. They're there. I can vent about them like I was telling you yesterday. I can vent about them and then I can move on. I don't have to vent, still not do anything about it. Vent. It's like a game of Pac-Man. I can just work through it, let it go, and move on. So it has been extremely freeing for me as a person to learn about my emotions, work through my emotions, and not let them control me.
Right.
It's been great.
Stunning. So if I can just put it in a little package here, if you look at it from the physical perspective, we're seeing that with the body regulating itself, and I'm talking about hormones now, neurochemicals, people today are too stressed. And that means your cortisol levels are up high, and that's what stops you making these good decisions um, emotionally. So now that you say that things have slowed down. You can process things much better. That would tell me that your cortisol has come down, your inflammation levels have come down, and your body has more reserves to start to heal and keep you healthy or at optimum.
Agreed.
Okay,
100% agree.
great stuff.
And I'm a 58-year-old postmenopausal woman who could be a real hot mess if I wasn't careful. But because of this lifestyle change with homeopathic medicine, I don't have to be that person. I can I'm living a great life. I really am.
So, Dory, I'm going to put you on the spot now, but can I ask you, um, are you able to be who you are now, where maybe previously you had to have certain ways of couching things that because you were hiding certain hurts or emotions or thoughts or feelings? And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I want you to try and be as honest as you can here for the benefit of the potential person that's going to hear this and be able to say, listen, that could work for me.
Yeah. That's kind of an emotional question for me because I was not living I wasn't who I was. I wasn't living who I really am. I had a lot of hurt. I had a lot of feeling. I had a lot of baggage. And because because I have done the work and worked through those emotions, worked through the traumas, I I didn't know I could live happy. I was always on the fly, on the move, hiding physically, but always hiding some kind of emotion or trauma, or I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel at peace. I didn't feel comfortable in my skin. I didn't feel like I could settle. And I think I told you this yesterday or the last time we talked. I don't feel that way now. I'm not running or chasing or hiding from anyone or anything. I can sit here on my couch on a beautiful Sunday, Thursday morning, have a cup of coffee, and be comfortable
Okay.
and just be okay. And I
Wonderful.
wasn't like that 3 years ago.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Well, Dory, let me tell you, you absolutely touched my heart. I love doing this, and it's absolutely amazing when the patient can start to feel all of these um, releases, and it just makes, for me, it makes this job so rewarding. And it's been lovely chatting to you and actually working with you over this time.
It's been great. I can honestly say I don't dread going to the doctor.
Wonderful, Dory. Thank you. Unless when I make you angry or upset about something, right?
That's just part of the process.
Yeah.
And I know that now.
Right. Good stuff. Dory, thank you so much.
Thanks, Doc.
Okay, then. Good.
Peace.
Right. Bye.
Bye.